Okay, everyone, we're going to get going here. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the MSP Connect program, give you a full program overview, and then, of course, the deep dive. We've got two different types of people we normally get on these types of webinars. One are the brand new partner or prospective partner looking to get going with the Sophos MSP Flex program. And the other type is the existing partner that's been around for a while and is just looking for some latest tips and tricks and the latest updates on everything. So we've got a little bit for everyone on this presentation here today. Feel free to throw your questions in the question and answer section of the GoToWebinar, and we'll be doing our best to address those as we go along. First and foremost, who is Sophos? Got to talk a little bit about that, even though most people are familiar with us. We've been around since the 80s. We are the world's only leader in both network and endpoint protection. Approaching about 4,000 employees today and over 100 million users in 150 different countries. The real key thing here is that we are a 100% channel-focused organization, and the MSP program launched about 4 years ago or so, and it is absolutely just taken off. Fastest growing program in our 34-year history, and the message that we went to the market with is one dashboard, one program, and one vendor. So let's talk a little bit more about what that means, if I can advance the slides. There we go. So as everyone kind of, what you will find is that as a channel-only organization, we're set up that way to support our partners. So you're going to have a local Sophos team member in your area to support you locally, events and things of that nature. They have people that map to them and other resources, inside account managers, technical resources, etc. On the MSP team here, we're an overlay. So a lot of people on this team as well, so we try to make it easy. So here in North America, we split it into three different regions: East, Central, and West. And essentially, it follows the area codes. So if you're in the Central time zone, the alias that you want to reach out to would be centralmsp@sophos.com. Same goes for East MSP and West MSP throughout North America. So the market opportunity, it's another thing that I don't have to talk to a lot of people about, because if you didn't understand the market opportunity, then you wouldn't be on this call. However, the important thing to note is that Sophos understands it as well. Has not always necessarily been the case. I've been with the company for roughly 7 years now, and when I first started, Sophos as an organization really had yet to wrap our hands around the market opportunity in MSP in general. However, there's been that huge shift from CapEx to predictable OpEx. And we see this huge technology complexity that's out there in the industry today, and the demand for 24/7 support from your customer base, and then of course the lack of in-house expert skills. On top of that, to confuse things further, you see that evolving threat landscape, which is just throwing everyone for loops today. The threats are getting more and more advanced, and there's emerging technologies that are needed to fight those adversaries. We take those negatives, we're able to harness those negatives and turn them into absolute positives. So give you the ability as the MSP to generate the monthly recurring revenue stream and keep your customers safe, eliminate that complexity from your customer's environment, offload that to the tools that are in place. And we're going to show you how we make that happen here today. So when I first talk to a new partner, I like to go through the different security portfolio elements that we have. And I start off usually asking, what are you doing at the firewall level? And a lot of times I'll get SonicWall as shown here, or I'll get Fortinet or WatchGuard or Palo Alto, right? A lot of really great firewalls and next generation firewalls on the market today. So then I move along and I start talking about the wireless access points and wireless environments. Meraki, Unify, Aerohive. Again, a lot of really good products on the market. Moving along to cloud-based email, we hear Proofpoint, several others that are there too. Simulated phishing and end user awareness training. That's going to be your, KnowBe4, PhishMe, Wombat, a lot of products there. How about next gen endpoint, or what the industry now I guess is calling next gen? Cylance, SentinelOne, CrowdStrike. Mobile device management, Mass 360 is a good example for that. Server protection, and then encryption. Encryption tends to be kind of greenfield for people these days, but it's more and more important as time goes on to be able to enforce drive encryption, usually on laptops. Okay, so as you can see here, there are 8 different security layers or categories, if you will, that we play in. And for most partners, that's 8 different vendors to interact with, 8 partner programs to understand, and 8 consoles that they have to master. So all of these things coming together in harmony really almost never works. And the end result is really going to be, weak security posture. And as everyone knows, you're also going to have that wasted time that you're investing in there. And wasted time, of course, is wasted money. So it's at that point where it starts to click with a lot of partners that I talk to that if Sophos can do an as good job, and of course we'd argue that we're going to do a better job, but let's just say that we can do an as good job at each one of these categories, then it just makes sense to consolidate with the Sophos security portfolio. Okay, 8 best of breed technologies, all different security layers, all from one vendor, managed centrally from a cloud platform that we call Sophos Central. I'm going to demo Sophos Central here today and show you what it's going to look like to manage these different products all from one place. So what gives us the advantage though in the market today? So we are a complete security company. That emphasis is absolutely on complete. We're the only company in the world, as I mentioned earlier, that's a leader in both network and endpoint in the Gartner Magic Quadrants, both of which are available in this MSP program. And because we have such a vast experience and expertise and visibility into so many different layers of that security across the portfolio, Sophos has the unique advantage to be able to leverage all the insight and connect all the layers together so that each solution is contextually aware of what's going on with kind of one another. That type of context aware and synchronization technology, you might argue, isn't unique to Sophos. However, if you're looking at competing solutions, you're going to be required to put your money into expensive, complex third-party tools like SIM tools, and then you're going to have the expert users that you're going to need to hire to manage it all and keep tabs on everything that's going on. We bring everything together in what we call synchronized security. It's the heartbeat between the security layers. It's simplified for our partners in a cloud platform from a single pane of glass that we call Sophos Central. You're going to hear this concept a lot. If you're on our website or go to any of our other webinars, synchronized security is an extremely powerful concept. Perhaps the ultimate or the best example of that to creating that synchronized security heartbeat and attacking the most advanced threats that are out there on the market today is going to be the combination of our XG firewall and our endpoint, our INTERCEPT X or INTERCEPT X Advanced. Okay. On their own, the firewall is best of breed. On its own, the INTERCEPT X is going to be best of breed, protecting your laptops, workstations, and servers. However, when you combine them together, you have that advantage to be able to connect the security layers so they're sharing contextual information with each other. So if an endpoint is compromised or in an unhealthy state, your firewall knows it and can take automated action. Keyword there, automated action based on the health status and what's going on at that endpoint. Automatic. Nothing you have to do except for receive the alert and monitor as needed. Let's put firewalls aside for a second and let's talk a little bit about endpoint or INTERCEPT X, INTERCEPT X Advanced. INTERCEPT X was built to defend not just against the known threats today, but also the never seen before threats. Very, very important. Our lab's organization sees and processes over 400,000 previously unseen malware samples each and every day. And then, of course, more and more of them these days are including a payload that includes ransomware. All right, so today it's more critical than it's ever been that you're going to have to deny that attacker. In fact, it's expected of you from your customers as the managing entity for their network to be able to protect them and deny that attacker. And any vendor that tells you that their product is 100% guaranteed is definitely lying to you, okay? It would be foolish to say that 100% effectiveness is there. However, our partners will tell you, and they'll all agree, the closest thing to 100% protection available on the market today is INTERCEPT X. And we do that with really layers, right? Defense in depth is what it's all about, or the power of the plus. So it starts off for us with the foundational techniques. This is what probably Sophos is best known for worldwide, been doing it for 35 years. What most people think of as the signature-based AV, okay? Looking for signatures within that we have for the known bad samples that are out there today. Okay. Not only does it give you signature-based detection, but the foundational techniques also include controls to shrink the threat landscape. When I say controls, I'm talking about application control, device control, and web control. Okay, starting with web control, that means that from the endpoint, just using the foundational techniques, you can set what is appropriate web usage for any machine in your environment. So keeping users off of not just the known malicious sites, but also stuff that may be fishy or maybe even not be productive. Okay. Then we move along to device control. Do you want to be able to limit what types of external media and peripherals can connect to those devices? Not so much anymore is it the scenario where somebody finds the thumb drive in the parking lot and brings it into the environment and infects the entire network. More so that we see is because more and more people are working from home these days, a lot of people are working from home on machines that don't have business grade or enterprise grade protection like INTERCEPT. So they become infected at home, store their data on external media, bring that into the workplace and infect the environment that way. Device control allows you to lock that down, specify right down to the type of media that is allowed to be used, external and exporting and importing, etc. Okay. And then lastly, application control. Do you want users to be able to download and run any kinds of applications that they want, or do you want to be able to control that? You can do that right there with the foundational techniques. Okay. And I happen to know that of all the malware that we catch on workstations, laptops, and servers, about 95% or so are caught with these foundational techniques, which is pretty good. However, not good enough. So we take it a step further. When it comes to ransomware, we employ a process called CryptoGuard. CryptoGuard looks at any process touching business files, whether it's malicious or benign. While that's happening, the CryptoGuard is actually storing a local copy on the device just in case that process steps out of the bounds of what it should be doing, and CryptoGuard steps in and convicts that process as malicious. Once that process is convicted as malicious, those files that were previously usually encrypted are now unencrypted and visible and usable for the customer. So yes, technically you got hit with ransomware, but no harm, no foul. CryptoGuard stepped in and saved the day. Next, moving along, we're also employing an element of artificial intelligence that we call deep learning. Everyone in the industry today in the next gen space is going to have some form of artificial intelligence that they'll tell you why theirs is the greatest since sliced bread. I've got the same pitch for you. If you want it, I can absolutely break into it another time. But for right now, we'll just take it very high level and let you know that deep learning is the most effective way to categorize files and executables as either malicious or benign without signatures, based on behavior and deep learning and artificial intelligence with the fewest amount of false positives. And lastly, we look to employ anti-exploit technology. Okay, rather than focusing in on the millions and millions of threat samples that are out there, we're actually going in and preventing the hackers' favorite tools and techniques. So we focus on approximately 25 or so exploits that attackers rely on to spread that malware, to steal your credentials, and escape detection. Okay. So it's the power of the plus. You could think of it almost as 4 different products all in one from one agent that makes it the most effective. We are the most comprehensive endpoint protection, and it's thanks to these unique combination of techniques that are built to stop the widest range of endpoint threats, both today as well as tomorrow. So compare this to other vendors, ask them what components they have, how strong are each of their components, how does it all add up? Most of the others often just rely on 1 or 2 maybe primary techniques. But what if that fails? Got to have that defense in depth. Why this is so powerful. Okay. Part of INTERCEPT is what we call threat cases, or what was previously known as root cause analysis. So the number one question that we get from partners and customers is, how did it get in? Okay, understanding the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Great, Mr. MSP, you solved my problem, you stopped the malware, but how did it get in? Well, threat cases are that answer. It's going to give you the full understanding, the full forensics of that attack in a nice, visually appealing visual that you can either explain to the customer or even just provide that to them. So show you where it started, who let it in the door, right down to the user, who was logged into that device at that time, what files it touched, what registry keys it touched, where did it write to, where did it start encrypting, where did that process step out of bounds. Full forensics right here. And I like to talk about this now because we're going to be talking about EDR, endpoint detection and response, here in a minute. EDR is an add-on to INTERCEPT that strengthens this story and allows you to go hunting for different threats. However, most partners think that you need that EDR add-on in order to get forensics like this. You do not. This is included with INTERCEPT and INTERCEPT Advanced. Okay. Don't expect that you're going to use third-party testing tools and analysts to make your decisions for you, but I like to put this up. We were recently ranked #1 for both enterprise and SMB by SE Labs. So take a look at this, see if you haven't necessarily standardized on Sophos yet, and you've got something else, where do your endpoint security vendors line up and match up? Okay, so I alluded to this earlier. INTERCEPT just got stronger. It now has EDR, endpoint detection and response. Okay, so what is that? Well, although we're elite in that pre-execution detection, most partners, a lot of partners and customers, they really want to be able to retroactively search for threats that were detected somewhere else in that customer's environment, so they can proactively eliminate any of the dormant threats that have not yet been executed. So, as we discussed earlier, traditional techniques can be in the 95-ish effective rate. So we rely on the post-execution techniques like CryptoGuard, anti-exploit, and all those other things that I talked about. So the question is, do you want to wait for those payloads to execute, even if you have the tools and the insight where you can go and catch them before they detonate and infect? That's where EDR is all about. Okay. The largest MSSPs in the world have staff security analysts, malware analysts, threat intelligence analysts. Those roles come with huge, heavy price tags. Sophos EDR supplements your pre-existing security strategy, so you don't have to add that headcount. Gives you the insight to turn your expertise into the tool that you use to hunt these threats. It's the force multiplier, right? Taking one person, giving them the tools to what used to be required by, say, 3 or 4 different people. Allows you to differentiate yourself from an MSP to an MSSP, or a threat hunter, as the industry is calling it. Okay. Don't want to spend too much more time on EDR. It deserves its own demo, its own hour on its own. However, here are a quick couple of views of what you're going to do, how it does strengthen that forensics case that we talked about with INTERCEPT. Okay. So I'm now going to go through what I call the wheel, and it is truly end-to-end protection from a single vendor. It's all those replacements to those products that we talked about right at the beginning. So starts off with the XG firewall. By the way, everything in here talks to and is managed from Sophos Central, the cloud platform. And by default, since it's connected to Sophos Central, it's going to be available in the MSP program as a monthly pay-as-you-go license. The XG firewall here in the top left is everything that you'd expect in a next generation firewall. Zero cost cloud-based management, IDS, IPS, traffic shaping, quality of service control, VPN options, all your WAN link balancing and failover, content filtering, application awareness, everything that you'd expect in a next gen firewall. On the MSP program, you could purchase the bare bones hardware up front and then license it monthly as on the MSP program. We'll talk about that. We'll do a little exercise here at the end on how to walk you through that. Okay. Then we talk about Endpoint Advanced and INTERCEPT, which really do need to be spoken about in the same breath. We're talking about those traditional techniques along with the next gen techniques as well. All right. And then, of course, we've recently melded them together into a single product that we call INTERCEPT Advanced, giving you both the traditional and next gen protection in a single product, single SKU. Okay. More on that. We talk about basic server protection, server standard, as well as server advanced, whereas in the past, server advanced had a lot of the same features and functionality as INTERCEPT. Well, over time, we've actually given server advanced all the features of INTERCEPT, so we've appropriately renamed it server protection and INTERCEPT Advanced for server. Okay. Wireless access points, same concept as the XG firewall. You could purchase the wireless access points themselves, license it monthly on the MSP program. You could buy a term license for them, or if you've got a Sophos XG firewall, there's no licensing required at all. The firewall has the licensing already for the wireless piece of it. Next, we talk about Phish Threat, which is our simulated phishing and security awareness training for your customers. One of the biggest vectors for ransomware today, of course, is going to be through email and phishing. So security awareness is obviously going to be important. This is a very unique product. It's very similar feature for feature as other products on the market. Big differentiator here is that we only charge when you phish through a campaign. So you have all of your customers connected to it, and you're measuring their security awareness over a course of time. However, the only time we're actually going to get charged for this is when you actually push out a phishing campaign. So if you're not phishing people monthly, let's say you're phishing people quarterly, you're only going to get a quarterly charge for this product. Huge differentiator out there. Cost obviously, isn't everything. However, we understand its importance and its place in this market. Mobile Advanced, so that's your MDM, basic MDM, or enterprise mobility management, or whatever the industry is calling it today. Mobile Advanced is going to give you that. True containerization, so separation of church and state. So if you've got a BYOD environment, no big deal. You've got your corporate container where all your corporate data lives, and it's completely separated from the personal stuff on that device. Then you've got device encryption. I touched on this earlier as one of our fastest growing products in the wheel here. This is the ability for you to enforce hard drive encryption on laptops, usually driven by some sort of compliance or corporate policy or whatever. And then lastly, we've got the email advanced. That's going to be your cloud-based email and spam protection. Perfect supplement to Microsoft Office 365 or any kind of cloud-based email product where you're not necessarily convinced that Microsoft or whoever it is doing an as good job as they should protecting you from spam and all the advanced threats. Email Advanced is that email gateway to put in front of it to give you that inbound and outbound protection. This now includes email encryption in the product. No additional add-on needed. Huge, huge selling point for Sophos Central Email Advanced. Okay. Lastly, we already talked about it. EDR is the new add-on, newish. It's that guided analysis and investigation for the questionable security events that you have through INTERCEPT X Advanced. Okay, so that is available today in the MSP program as well. Soon to be added here in the coming months is going to be MDR or MTR, Managed Detection and Response. So if you don't want to be that specialist that goes out and hunts, outsource that to us. We'll do it for you. More on that to come. All right. So you got the top-rated endpoint protection. You got the intelligent endpoint detection and response that's available in the EDR product. It's going to give you that bundled SKU, INTERCEPT X Advanced with EDR. Of course, not all customers have to use it. It's all a la carte. So one thing that I'm going to be jumping into here very shortly is going to be the partner dashboard. And of the partner dashboard, there's going to be different versions depending on who you are and what you're going to be doing. Most partners spend their time on the left side of the screen here at the partner dashboard, that truly multi-tenant console with the ability to launch into each individual customer's Sophos Central admin. That is the customer specific dashboard where you set things specific to that customer, like policy, like user, like Active Directory integration, etc. More to come on that as we move along. But before I get into that, hopefully most people are asking themselves, this all sounds good, how do I get going? If you have not already become Sophos MSP Connect Flex certified, the journey to become so is extremely simple and straightforward. First, you got to have a proven managed service business. Then you go to our website and fill out the application, sophos.com/MSP. And then you start the training. There's going to be 2 training tracks. The first one is the sales fundamentals. It just goes through a lot of the products in more detail and that are in that wheel that I covered. Then you're going to fill and complete the MSP sales consultancy training. Okay, basically go through the program here, which is what we're doing here today. You should be able to cruise through both of these extremely quickly with the knowledge that you have from today's webinar. And then lastly, you're going to get distributor approval for the monthly billing. Even though the licensing part of this program does not require that you pre-purchase any licensing or reach out to anyone. It's all on the fly, but your monthly invoicing would come through one of our distributors. Those distributors are going to be Ingram Micro, Lifeboat Distribution, D&H, and we've just recently brought on Synex as well. Okay, so we reach out to them on your behalf, make sure we got the green light from them, they give the thumbs up, and you get that flex tag in our system. It's at that point that you get they get a new button in your dashboard that says create monthly account. This is key. This is what people love, even possibly more than even all the great technology as a whole, is just the ease of transacting. That button allows you to create customers on the fly, which then of course allows you to go in, download software and deploy it on the fly, protect your customers without having any friction in between. I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. Okay, so you get the end-to-end protection from a single vendor. We go through all these products that we already talked about, and what we're going to do is we're going to categorize them. This is important as it pertains to how you are billed monthly. Okay, so we categorize the firewalls as devices. So the more devices you have, the lower your cost per device license. Okay, servers are servers, so the more servers you have, the lower your cost per server per month. Same with wireless, and then everything else falls under the user category. That includes phish threat. You can see it here, kind of some animation here. That is because we've recently added phish threat to the user category. It used to be its own category. So in other words, all of these products fall into the same bucket that we use to calculate your aggregate usage. For example, here are those buckets. Okay. For example, you take your first 4 customers. The first one's got 180 users. Now remember, 180 users may not be 180 people. It could be 90 people using 2 products in the user category, or it could be 60 people using 3 products in the user category. Let's say they're doing INTERCEPT X Advanced, Device Encryption, and phish threat. Okay. Customer B has got 150 users, same concept there, right? Maybe it's 50 users using 3 different user products. Customer C 300, customer D 230. We aggregate those all up. Okay, and then we use that and cross-reference that to them, and that's where you fall into your aggregation that we use for billing. Now, it's at this point that I like to also talk about what we call band jumping. So as you can imagine, starting off, you're going to start off at the 1 to 99 user band, and the 1 to 24 server band, and the 1 to 24 devices band. And then over time, you're going to add more users, servers, devices, etc. And you're going to improve your cost as you grow and add more customers over time. That's a great concept, and that's really nice. However, you're going to experience that fluctuation. What I like to talk to my partners about, and what I encourage you to reach out to your channel manager about, is a band jump. Let's talk about where you think you're going to be in the next 12 months. Not a commitment, but something to shoot for, where you can say, hey, I think I'm going to, I can easily be at the 5,000 user band in the next 12 months. Great, let's set you there from day one. Okay, we're going to put a review period attached to that to just make sure that you're on track and hitting that. However, let's set it there, give you that great price right out of the gate without the fluctuation. Reach out, talk to us offline about that, please. Okay, who does what? Also very simple. We handle the legal relationship with you. We give you the training. We deliver on that synchronized security. We handle level 2 support and above. Now we've got VIP MSP support for you here with your dedicated email alias and phone number. It's available upon request once you've achieved that Flex certification. Okay. The distributor, as I mentioned, is going to handle any kind of hardware logistics. So if you got to buy a firewall or wireless access point, you got to reach out to your distributor, give them the SKU, and get on that. They're going to give you any terms that you want, as well as they're going to invoice you monthly, and they're going to pay us. You are going to handle level 1 support and above. You're going to provision, you're going to configure, you're going to be invoiced by your distributor, remember, and then you can invoice your customer however you want. So hopefully that all makes sense. Very, very simple and straightforward. Again, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and go to sophos.com/MSP to sign up. There is no cost. There is no commitment. So love to receive that, and we'll reach out and make sure you're qualified and get you rolling. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to jump into the actual dashboard itself and kind of walk you through the life of a new Sophos MSP partner. Okay, so the first place I'm going to go is going to be id.sophos.com. Okay, and the id.sophos.com is one place where you can go to have access to anything, all the tools that are associated with your Sophos ID or your email address, basically. This is an email address that will be for you. So you're going to want any and all of your employees to have their own Sophos IDs. As you can see, I've got the firewall manager for centrally managing firewalls, partner dashboard, which is where we're going to kind of be spending most of our time. That's that multi-tenant console for creating new customers and deploying software. You're going to have My Sophos, which is a place where you can log and register firewalls, mostly a licensing tracking console. You've got the community and then the partner portal. I'm actually going to start off right here in the partner portal, as we are a new partner jumping in here for the first time and getting going. Okay. For whatever reason, it brings you to the opportunity section, which is really not applicable to an MSP partner, more so for reseller, traditional reseller partners and VARs that are looking to track deals, term deals. But so we're going to go ahead and click on the Sophos icon to bring us back to the main page. And on the main page, the first place I want to kind of draw your attention to is going to be the MSP Hub. It's right here in Partner Quick Links. You'll see it here, the MSP Hub. Okay, MSP Hub is your kind of one-stop shop for anything tutorials, how-tos, and knowledge-based articles to direct you in the right way. All right, so it'll go through the program, give you the guide, get the latest, greatest pricing here, how-to resources and videos. If you're using an RMM tool and you want to learn how to automate our deployment for our Endpoint, INTERCEPT X, or whatever it may be, you can jump in here. We've got ConnectWise, Kaseya, and Datto in here. However, we're well embedded into many others. It's just the ConnectWise, Kaseya, and Datto are really the officially certified integration partners that we have. And by the way, this is strengthening more and more every day from both a PSA and RMM standpoint. We've recently released some APIs that are in early access right now and about to go live. So we'll be doing more and more with the RMMs and PSA tools to give you everything you need from that perspective. Back to the partner portal, I think the first thing that you're probably going to want to do that makes the most sense is to start to add your employees. Okay, so you've got access, but what about everyone else that needs access to the training? So that's going to be done right up here. There's a head and shoulders up here, and you're going to go to settings. And in the settings here, you can see you can manage existing users and add new ones. Okay, this is also the first step to role-based administration and control for the dashboard. And I'll talk more about that as we get to the dashboard itself for actually administrating software and customers. Okay. Let's see. So you're going to add your employees there. They're going to set up their Sophos IDs and they're going to get access. Everything's good. All right. So now the next step would be for you to go through the training, and that's going to be here in the training and certification section in the learning zone. Apologies, it's actually in the training portal. That's where you're going to find the tracks themselves. And you're going to see all of our training and certification tracks in here, of which there are quite a few. And of course, we encourage everyone to get as many of these as you can. And they're all free, self-paced, on-demand trainings here. It's really the one that we want you to see. For me, it's already in progress. For you, it would be in the available certifications. It's going to be the MSP Connect Flex. In there, you'll find those two tracks that we mentioned, the Sales Fundamentals and MSP Flex. Okay, so you understand the products and the program. Very simple. By the way, I've seen these trainings take 2 hours, 3 hours. Really, if you want to fast track it, let me know. We can help you do that too. So because on how I guess how quickly you want to get going. Okay, so work on those. Get your employees to work on those. We only need one person to complete that certification though. Okay, so maybe while you're doing that, or maybe after you do that, it's always a good time to jump right into your dashboard and see what things are and what tools are in there. So we can go right from the partner portal to manage Sophos Central to get there. We could go back to our Sophos ID section here where it's at id.sophos.com. But right there in the partner portal, as mentioned, manage Sophos Central will take you to the same place. And then, of course, we're going to have two-factor authentication. Don't have to tell anyone why this is important these days. I used to have to, which is weird. It's refreshing that we don't have to go through that again. And we give it a minute, and we are in. Okay, so from the partner dashboard, this is that truly multi-tenant console that we were talking about. We're going to be able to see our high alerts, medium alerts, and everything else in between from a customer perspective, all rolled up into this one dashboard. Okay, it's actually a really good time to talk to you about the next steps in role-based administration and control. We talked about adding your employees initially through the partner portal. That's great for getting them access to the portal and the pricing and the training. But what about this dashboard? Do you want to be able to control your employees and what customers they have access to and what they can do specifically within that customer? Most partners say, nope, my employees are good to go. Engineers can access and do whatever they need to do. I want to make everyone a master admin. Other partners say, absolutely not. I've got customers that should not be touched by these employees. If they are, we're in big trouble. So if that's the case, you can come down to settings and policies and go into administrators and control that. Okay, so Alvin Chu, for example, everyone in my list of employees is all going to be set as a super admin. But if I wanted to limit Alvin, I could certainly do that. Okay, I'm going to make him a partner admin, and I'm only going to give him access to certain customers to be able to administer. And I'm going to save that. Okay, so full role-based administration and control for partners with the ability for you to customize these as needed. And by the way, if you ever want to have an understanding of what are the different roles, so what is a super admin versus a help desk versus read-only, it's just, they're all clickable, okay? So you can really understand what each one does. Okay. Perfect. So now we've logged into the partner portal. We've checked out the pricing sheet. We've gone to the training and certification. Maybe we've started that. Maybe we've completed it. We've added our employees and decided what roles we want to give them to be able to do. Now, let's actually add a customer. And let's make this first customer us. We are fully on board with Sophos. We want to eat the dog food. So we're going to do what we call your NFR licenses. NFR are not for resale licenses. Those are zero cost licenses to you. They are 1-year term licenses. This is important. 1-year term licenses, renewable at no cost to you as long as you're an active partner. Why that 1-year term license is important is because it's a different process for term customers than it is for monthly. Okay. Most MSPs say, no, I'm all monthly. Every customer I want on the monthly pay-as-you-go licensing, totally fine. However, maybe every once in a while, occasional customer here and there, you want to have a 1-year, 2-year, or 3-year term. And then, of course, you got your NFRs, which is that 1-year term license. So let's walk through both those processes and that crossroads. Okay. All right. So let's assume here now that I've completed the training and that Sophos has reached out to my distributor for me on my behalf, and I've gotten the green light. So now I am fully Flex certified and approved. So that means I can come into my Sophos Central customers section here, and I can create a new monthly account. This button would not be there if I were not fully approved. Okay. I don't want to do that for this customer because I'm setting up my NFRs, which is a term license. Best way to set up a term license is through the trial section. Start a new trial. You get the full 30-day, fully unlocked access to all the products. Okay. Then, once you've reached out to your channel manager, you've gotten your NFR key, you can apply that key, that 1-year term key, to that eval that you have spun up there. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So you'll have 30 days. Once you apply that key, it's going to extend that 30 days to 1 year. You're good to go. We like to give you the full run of everything in the Sophos Central wheel there, from INTERCEPT X to device encryption to mobile, whether you use it or not. Okay. Now, let's talk about setting up a monthly customer, a little bit different. And this is why. It's because when you buy a term license, you are pre-purchasing that 1-year term license for X quantity for X products. So we know what you have. In the MSP program, in the monthly licensing, everything is unlocked. So it's going to ask you questions. It wants you to specify what do you want from the beginning. So when we create that account, It's going to bring us to a form. Okay, we're going to put in our information. Burlington, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the email address here is very important as well. All right, you don't want to use your email address here usually. You usually don't want to use a customer email address here either. Why? Because that customer will receive an email with a setup link. If you don't want them to receive that, just put in something generic here. Customer XYZ at yourdomain.com. This email does not even need to exist at this point, okay? So just as long as it's unique and as long as it's in email format, you're good to go. You got to select the data storage location. In this case, I want United States of America, and I'm going to next, okay? So here's the crossroad now. It's going to the top level there, INTERCEPT X Advanced with EDR. So let's just say, for the sake of argument today, that we haven't talked to this customer yet about EDR and the option to threat hunt, or let's just say that we don't have the resources and we don't have the time right now on our hands to go searching and hunting for threats. So we're not going to go with the EDR add-on. We're just going to go right to INTERCEPT X Advanced, which, as we know now, includes both traditional and next-gen protection. On the server licenses, let's go with the same route. Or if you don't have any servers, it's okay, just choose any option here. It's irrelevant at that point, but it does force you to make a decision here and make a selection, okay? Accept the terms and conditions, create the monthly customer, and you're good to go. That customer is gonna now show up in your Sophos Central customers section. Let's take Burn Inc. for example. As you can see, Burn Inc. has already got deployed licenses, okay? But let's assume that this is a fresh, brand new customer. We're going to launch the Sophos Central admin. So now we're going from the multi-tenant console to that single tenant instance where we can do things specific to this customer. All right, so now we're in here and I can go to protect devices, okay? This is where I'm gonna find the breakdown of all the different software that I can do. Now remember, we chose that we were gonna go with INTERCEPT X Advanced. So in our components here, this is a bad example because at the beginning of this account, we chose that we did want EDR. So if you chose INTERCEPT X Advanced without the EDR add-on at the first stage of this process, you would not see that in the menu here, all right? But also, do you want device encryption is another option, all right? Do you want to be able to enforce that hard drive on the machines that we're installing this on? Let's just say, again, that this is a healthcare organization. They probably should encrypt their hard drives, but I'm not ready to pay for that yet, or they're not ready to pay for that, so I haven't talked to them about it yet. I haven't sold them on that product yet. So we're going to stick with this. We're going to download that installer, and we're going to run it on the workstations and laptops, both Mac and PC, to protect those devices, okay? So again, this kind of trips people up a lot of times because people are used to purchasing licensing and getting a set bucket of licensing, the pool of licensing that they can choose from and assign to customers. With this tool, with this dashboard, there's none of that. There is the account creation on the fly, as we've seen. There is flexible deployment of product within the dashboard, within the admin console here for every single customer. Not once yet have I reached out to anyone on the Sophos side or distribution side or anything like that, okay? So hopefully that all makes sense. For those partners looking to do more of a mass deployment, so this methodology is great for, you know, small organizations, small customers where we just have a few machines that we want to deploy on. If you're looking to automate that process more, maybe through your RMM or through some sort of scripting process, then there is another option for you here. And that's going to be to go back to the partner dashboard. Okay, so we know that we're back there because we're at Sophos Central Partner. And we're going to go to the deployment section. In the deployment section, we've got a Windows and Mac thin installer. Okay, the advantage of the thin installer here is that it's a fraction of the size. It can be run right silently at the command line, and it doesn't expire. Okay, so there'll be some variables in that command, like what is the customer token? Where do you want the data storage location to be? Like we chose, you know, North America. It's going to be North America 99% of the time. And then what products right there in the command. So great way to deploy in mass, integrate with your RMM to do an automated deployment. on a larger scale. Okay. The next thing to really drill in on is the concept of a user license versus a device license. Okay, in the Sophos world, we have user licenses. So if I go back to that customer here, Burn Inc., we're back in the Sophos Central admin, and I go to the people section. Just know that this customer, this users here, although they may have multiple devices, let's say a laptop and a desktop, it still only consumes one user license. And you can accomplish that by either using the Active Directory integration that's included with this, or you could do it manually. So for example, I could go into this person and I could edit the login section here to include this device, and this device. So even though I've got 5 machines here protected, I'm only consuming one user license. Very unique to Sophos, very, very popular. And again, we know that, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And we know that, the dollars and cents part of this concept is what's important here. Okay. Okay. So we talked about deployment. We talked about setup. Manage customer usage is the next section that you're going to want to kind of take a look at. We're going to bounce back to the partner dashboard for that, and we're going to want to go into the manage customer usage section in the left navigation. This is important for a couple of different reasons. Number one is it gives you the roll-up of all your licensing and aggregation across all your customers, so you can see which customers are using what. We do point in time billing on the 22nd of every month, okay? And this is going to show you how things stand here today. So today is the 4th of the month, okay? So what I see here might not line up with my invoice that I got from distribution last month, assuming things changed between the 22nd of last month and today. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, reach out, let us know. You can pull a usage file right from your partner portal anytime you want, which is going to give you all the numbers that the distributor and Sophos used for the billing aspect of it. Okay, so but that's point in time billing. This is real time as it stands right now. The other reason why this is important is because let's just say, and this is very, very common, let's just say that you set up your customer with INTERCEPT X Advanced, and somewhere along the line, you talk to them about EDR and the add-on for that, and you've sold them on that, and now you want to move forward with it. So you want to upgrade that license. We don't have to do any deployments. We don't have to do anything else. We simply come in here, change the license type, specify whether we're talking about endpoint and server, and then upgrade them there and hit next through that process. Okay, so very easy way from you to go from a lower version and upgrade them through the ranks. Okay, EDR is not an additional deployment. It's literally just a recorder onto what's already there. Okay, so people get a little scared with upgrades and software installments and everything else, but not to worry in this case. Okay. You could also check your devices anytime to see what software they have on it. So if let's say that you've got a deployment of INTERCEPT X Advanced and you wanted to add that device encryption element to it, again, we're not installing another agent. It's just another feature associated with the same agent that's already there. So for that, we'd go back to the customer admin dashboard. We'd go to the devices section, and we could either do it onesie twosie, or we can do it in mass. Okay, so this is a great example here. This desktop does not have encryption. If I wanted to add that, I could just assign it here. No additional deployment, no additional software. Next time that machine takes an update, it's going to take encryption with it, and you can start enforcing that drive encryption. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right. So we've talked a lot about Sophos Central, the admin, the partner dashboard, endpoint protection, INTERCEPT X, server protection. I don't have time to get into mobile or the wireless piece of it yet, but I did want to spend some time on the XG firewall. Number one, the management options around it. let's get out of Burn Inc. here for a second. Go back to the partner dashboard. With XG Firewall, we provide zero-cost central management to our partners. Okay, and there are ultimately 4 different options there. One goes without saying, I think, is the firewall itself, right? You can manage the firewall from the firewall interface. 2 is the CFM or the SCFM. That's a Sophos Central Firewall Manager. That is a cloud-based firewall manager, central management aspect right here, kind of bolted on here to the partner dashboard. So it's launchable right here from the partner dashboard. It's going to put all your firewalls in one place so you can deploy a single policy to one firewall or large policy across multiple firewalls, whatever you want to do. Okay. The big brother to that is going to be the SFM, Sophos Firewall Manager, which is ultimately the same thing. However, it's something that you host and you manage. It's just not in our cloud. Typically, I recommend that version if you can, if you have the resources locally to do that. Most people do today. The reason why I recommend it is because it's not a shared environment, it's your own, which has, performance implications and everything else. So I recommend the on-prem or the self-hosted version of the Firewall Manager if you're going to go that route. The third option is to go right to the Sophos Central admin and connect the firewall that way. Okay, so Burn Inc. has a firewall, for example. Connect it right to that Sophos Central admin, and now you can manage that firewall the same way in the same place that you managed and deployed the endpoint piece. Okay. If you're looking for more information on that and how we accomplish that, we have a great video. It's about an hour long that goes through all those options and all the benefits and drawbacks to each one, if there are any left. The one thing I will say about that is that the Sophos Central admin version is just in version 1 right now, okay? So we call it CM1, Central Management 1. There will be much more granular things that you can do from that option from a multi-tenancy standpoint in a future release, okay? Again, we have got a great video. Reach out to us on that. We can send that over to you to give you the full hour-long breakdown, and you can make your decision from there, okay? Next, though, I want to talk about sizing a firewall and the different models and how we go about that. And for that, I'm going to jump to the Sophos website. All right. I'm going to go to their business products here. I'm going to go to the XG firewall, and I'm going to compare the products here. Okay. Compare the models. So for this example, I'm going to use a typical SMB customer with 10 or so users, and I'm going to size out a firewall accordingly. Okay, now our nomenclature, I guess, if you will, is pretty good. Okay, so the desktop models are the 106, 115, 125, and 135. I'd stay away from the 86, just as a side note. It does have a use case, but it's for very, very small customers. It's plastic form factor. It doesn't have a solid state drive. It makes the XG 106 your smallest firewall if you can. It's very, very well priced, and it's very, very affordable. So most partners don't have that problem. And as I mentioned, the nomenclature is pretty good. So, the 115 is good for up to, say, 15 users, the XG 125 for 25 users, 35 users, etc. Of course, that is being way oversimplistic when it comes to sizing a firewall. This truly is an art, not a science. So we do need to have more detail than that to make a really true decision on a firewall. But because I don't have time and because I don't have those details, I'm going to go ahead and eyeball it and say, all right, so for our 10 user organization, I'm going to go with an XG 115 Rev 3. Okay, we've got 1U models, 2U models, all the way up to very large firewalls. The important thing to note is they're all the same under the hood. From feature to feature, there's no difference, no feature fade. Okay, so it truly is just a physical difference between them. Okay. Okay, so we decided on the XG 115, so we're going to price it out. And I'm deciding here that I'm going to do this on the MSP program today. If I wanted to do, a 3-year term license for that firewall, I certainly could. Absolutely can do that. You just go to your price list, get the 3-year SKU, give that to your distributor, and order it that way. However, we're going to go on the MSP model where we're going to buy the hardware upfront and license it monthly. Okay, there's the advantage to that is that usually on the smaller appliances, it ends up being more cost effective, and there's no term. So if we, God forbid, lose a customer or they go out of business or whatever it is, I can just simply stop that license and no harm, no foul. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to my handy dandy MSP price list. I'm going to go to the appliances section, and I'm going to find that 115. Here it is, the Rev 3 with this SKU. This is the SKU here, XG1BT3HEK, that I'm going to order through my distributor. Again, Lifeboat, DNH, Ingram Micro, or Synex. Okay, it's got an MSRP of $595. As a new partner, I come on board as a silver partner, okay, and that entitles me to 20% discount off a list. So that's $595 minus 20%, $476 my cost. Okay. Now, I do have a loophole here. We also have a deal registration program, which allows you to get 40%. Even our platinum partners and national partners have a ceiling of 40% deal registration discount. The catch to that is that I have to purchase at least $5,000 worth of hardware or product MSRP. So in this case, I could buy, 10 XG115s or a combination of different firewalls all in one purchase. Okay, if I do that, my $476, which was my previous cost, is now going to be $595 minus 40%, $357. So it is a significant difference. Okay, let's say that we did that. Let's say that we bought a bunch of different firewalls and loaded up our fleet of firewalls on the Sophos side so that we could get deal registration. And we bought this firewall. This particular firewall is $357 our cost. Now I'm at another crossroads. I have to decide, what license do I want to go on this firewall? There's lots and lots of options when it comes to firewall licensing for us. On the MSP program, though, we tried to make it a little bit more simplistic for our partners, and we give you 4 options. This document here goes through all the features and everything that you can license. Encourage everyone to read through this in detail, but to make it simple for today's call, we're going to go here, and hopefully everyone can read this. It's sized okay. And we're going to look at our options here. So our options on the MSP program are Enterprise Guard Plus, Full Guard, and Full Guard Plus. Enterprise Guard, despite the name, is going to be your lower cost, lower feature option that gives you everything in the next gen firewall space. The Plus option adds Sandstorm, which is our sandboxing technology. Look into that if you have time. It is definitely growing in popularity. That is an understatement. The Sandstorm piece is a very effective way to really combat a lot of the zero-day attacks. So Enterprise Guard, though, is going to be normally your go-to license, or Enterprise Guard Plus. Full Guard adds email protection and web server protection. Most people don't have on-prem email anymore and don't have on-prem web servers, so those 2 features aren't needed, hence the unnecessary need for Full Guard or Full Guard Plus. Okay, so let's say that we settled on Enterprise Guard, and now we're going to price that out. Go back to our sheet. This time we're going to go to our SKU tab, and we're going to find the green section here, which has the Enterprise Guard. Now remember, we have not yet deployed our 25th firewall. Okay, so we are still in the 1 to 24 devices or firewall devices category here in pricing band. Once I deploy my 25th firewall, then I jump up. But for now, we're here. So the XG115 with Enterprise Guard is roughly $18 a month. So that's $357 upfront cost for the hardware, $18 a month to license it with Enterprise Guard for as many months as we want to license it with 0 term. Okay, very, very attractive, very, very competitive. And a lot of partners love this option here. When it comes to licensing, it's also very simple for that. You come back to your partner dashboard here, go to your firewall section, you select the serial number, and there'll be a pull down. I don't have a very good example here because most of these have licenses already, but you'll have a pull down here in the subscription section, which allows you to select Enterprise Guard, Full Guard Plus, whatever it is you choose. So with that, I think we've successfully gone through, talked about how to sign up, how to get going, how it works with all the different products and pricing, how to deploy and size out a firewall and price it out effectively for each individual situation. And we are right at the top of the hour here. So I will have to shut down the webinar right now, but I know we have a few questions that are out there that we will address offline. And for anyone else that wants to reach out, remember those aliases again. It was East MSP at Sophos.com, Central MSP at Sophos.com, and West MSP at Sophos.com based on your respective region. So I hope this was helpful for everyone and that everyone enjoys the rest of your day. And I look forward to talking with everyone real soon. Thanks, everyone.